Quick disclaimer, guys. I'm not responsible for anything that you do. I'm not a professional mechanic or anything. So don't hold me responsible if you blow your eyelashes off or your eyebrows off or light your car on fire or burn down your house because you're doing a fuel line installation and following my video and you make a mistake. I'm not responsible for any of that, so just use caution and common sense when you're dealing with fuel. What I did to set up my fuel system, okay? What worked for me might not work for you guys. You know, what I know, you might not know, or vice versa. Just doing the video to kind of help you guys get an understanding on how it's done, but proceed at your own risk. What's going on, everybody? Just going to do a video. It's going to be pretty short, just explaining how my fuel system is set up. I know that when I was trying to set mine up, I had a lot of questions and I couldn't really find much information out there on how to do it, so it was kind of like trial and error for some stuff. But if you're not familiar with, you know, getting this far into the build and doing fuel lines and stuff like that, especially for external fuel pumps, inline fuel pumps, you know, hopefully that this right here will help you. So I'll just go over real fast on what I did. Hopefully you guys can understand, and I'll try to go pretty in depth as to what I did and where I ran my lines and stuff. So anyways, let's go ahead and start with the back. Alright, so first when you're gonna reinstall your fuel system, if you deleted the old fuel pump and even the tank, you're gonna want to get yourself a fuel cell, whatever size works out for you, for whatever kind of racing you want to do, whatever you're comfortable with. This one right here is a 1.5 gallon fuel cell. That's all I need because I don't daily this car at all. It's just going to be, you know, take it out, do a couple of passes, and that's it. So I deleted my stock fuel tank, which sat over there. Installed this. You're going to need an inline fuel pump like this one. Okay. Also too, when you get your fuel pump, your fuel cell, when you order it, it's probably going to come with this wire that's sticking out of here with this connector on here. All this wire is for the floater device that's inside the fuel tank. So that way, if you really set this thing up legit and you have a dash still in your car, it'll tell you how much fuel is still left in the tank. I don't need that, you know, just a few passes, whatever. Okay. So you need a fuel cell, fuel pump. You're going to need some fittings, some AN fittings, some braided line. It could be steel line, or it could be just like some regular fuel line that you get from AutoZone. I figured out where I want to mount my fuel pump, and I wanted it back here because I wanted it to be seen. I think it's pretty cool looking to have it back there. Plus two, it needs to sit under the fuel tank, so that way gravity can help feed the fuel through it. You can't have it like above the fuel tank, you're gonna run into problems. And then you gotta get some fittings and some line. You see, I just have it connected there. And you can see that on the fuel pump, it has a direction for which way the flow is supposed to go. So it's supposed to pull gas from the tank through here, through this way, and up to the front of the car. This line right here just loops around back here. And you can see we'll just follow it all the way through, and it runs all the way to the very front of the firewall. This side of the line here, we'll go into the car now, comes out right here, okay? And it's not set up yet on this side. I haven't put a fitting on it yet, but this old line right here used to be the same thing. This right here is just some line that I picked up from Lowe's, some high pressure line or whatever, just to get the car running. So anyway, this line that's coming from the fuel pump, right over there, comes up over here, and it's going to run down here into the bottom of the fuel cell. Okay, it doesn't matter which hole. It's just so that way you can pull gas from the tank. Now up here, you cap one off, just like this one's capped off down here. And this one right here runs, this is the return line. So this runs all the way around to here and into the stock metal return line. You guys can see I didn't get rid of all of that yet. In the future, I am going to run a return line under the car and straight up there. All of this is going to go away. And I'll try to show you here. Which line it is that you have to tap into. So hopefully you can. Alright. So my main feed line that you see there, that black braided line, it goes all the way up to the firewall. Comes all the way up through here. This is how I have it set up for now. Into my fuel filter right here, and then this loops around and runs into my fuel rail. Now the return line, if you don't want to have to figure out which one of those lines inside the car that I was just showing you is the return line, you can run the return line straight from the fuel pump or straight from the fuel cell to the front of the car if you run it underneath. And you can just run it into your fuel pressure regulator like how mine is here. So you see, fuel pressure regulator, and then just a line coming out, follow that around, and then it goes into that same type of metal line that you guys had saw inside the car. So if you want to bypass all of that, all you have to do is just remove this hose here, get yourself some steel braided line, and run the steel braided line right from here underneath the car, obviously bracket it up, and straight to the top of the fuel tank. It's pretty easy, but when you start dealing with these guys here, then it could be a little confusing, like, oh, which line is which. But when you're taking out your old fuel pump, or your old fuel cell, I should say, just make note of which line is going to which part of the fuel cell or fuel tank, the stock fuel tank. Okay, just make note of that, and then that way you'll know which is the return and which is the feed. Alright guys, so I figured that I would just go ahead and draw up a diagram to show you guys what I'm talking about. And as you can see right here, we have the fuel cell or fuel tank. This is the new fuel pump, the inline fuel pump. Okay, it needs to be under the fuel cell to allow gravity to help pull the gas through it. This right here is the fuel pressure regulator and the fuel rail. You know, your injectors would obviously sit in there. So really all you need for the EF or CRX, what I used in line, in the fuel line, was about, I'd say about 12 feet it took me to run enough fuel line from here all the way underneath the car and to the fuel rail. Okay, that was about 12 feet. So you're gonna need at least another 12 feet to run the return line to the fuel pressure regulator. Okay, so that'll help you out when you're ordering your fuel line and stuff like that. Obviously you're gonna need fittings and stuff, so make sure you get the right fittings for whatever size fuel line you decide to run. The stock fuel line size is 6AN, just in case you guys don't know that. But anyway, so you're gonna want to run one line from the fuel cell to here to the fuel pump, the inline fuel pump. Okay, gas is now the main fuel, the feed line that you're gonna run here. The port on the fuel cell is at the bottom. Okay, so there's gonna be 2 at the bottom and 2 at the top. Your feed line is gonna run from one of the ones at the bottom. Okay, and gas is gonna flow this way. Okay, through the fuel pump, and it's going to continue all the way up here and to the fuel rail. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Okay, don't forget, you know, you're going to have your fuel filter somewhere either here, or you can run it down here at the bottom. Either way, the gas is still running the same way. Gas is going to run through your fuel rail through your fuel pressure regulator, and it's going to need to return back down to the back of the car if that's where you run your fuel cell, and then into the top of the fuel cell. Okay, so that's pretty much all there is to it. It's very easy to set up. Just make sure that you order enough line. I ordered some braided line from Amazon. It was like 16 feet for, I think it was $60, so you can't beat that. So you know, you can order 2 of those for $100 or whatever, or you can go to AutoZone and just get some regular standard rubber high pressure fuel feed line, and it'll probably run you much cheaper than that. But I hope that this diagram has helped, and if you have any questions, feel free to message me down below in the comment section, or go to my Instagram and send me a direct message, and I'll get back to you for sure. Okay, good luck to you guys and with your build and stuff.